All right, what is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, Go Back Gator Guy 231 across the DFS industry. So happy to be bringing you a Boxing Day preview for tomorrow. This is being taped on Christmas here in really cold Florida for once. Actually had some close to freezing temps. So definitely feeling like the holiday season. Looking forward to getting back to some EPL DFS tomorrow. Really fun slate. These are actually like devoid of huge names and huge teams as my favorite type of EPL slate. So this 4-gamer is right up my alley, especially in cash. Looking forward to breaking it down for you guys. Quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment to the video. We are so close to 4,000 subscribers, which is amazing. You know, small site, FSI, created by myself and some friends. And, just been super pumped and thrilled by the support that everybody's given us. So thank you guys so much for that. Let's get into the EPL. Let's not get all sappy and stuff. Efficient and getting through stuff quick is kind of our mantra here. So let's start out. Actually, I want to start out with Southampton and Brighton because I think that some of the most important pieces from the slate are here. Southampton at home plus 225 versus the Brighton side that just had a terrible loss in the EFL Cup midweek to, I can't even remember the team. They were like minus 600, minus 700 going into the game. And it's just typical Brighton and big spots where they're going to control possession. They struggle to put the ball in the net. They didn't score. So let's break it down on plays. We'll start on the Southampton side. James Ward-Prowse is like the lock of all locks on the slate, 6,500, monopoly of sets. Yes, Southampton could lose possession battle here, but Brighton give up DFS points, especially away. So, a monopoly of set pieces, James Ward-Prowse has not been the same JWP of past years, DFS-wise this year. And sorry for the kid, by the way, you're going to hear is what it is, man. Kids are all hyped up for Christmas. This is my time to record. So apologies in advance for any background noise you hear, but, James Ward-Prowse, anytime he doesn't get 10 points, surprises me. So from a cash and optimal standpoint, not playing him here, I think is a mistake. He also takes PKs, takes strike free kicks, takes everything for Southampton. So that is your easy play. I think that outside of him, you don't really need to force anybody. Parad as a left wing back would be fine. Walker Peters doesn't cross the ball a ton. Che Adams, very, very talented striker. I could see him fit. I've kind of landed on some builds. Not my favorite play. He's a little bit more goal dependent striker, but he's a very talented guy. El Yanasi has a little bit of a floor, but nothing we need to go crazy about. I really think it's like JWP and then potentially Gavin Bazanu as the cheapest home keeper versus a team that struggles to score. I could see that being a very good play. Let's go to the Brighton side. I think Pascal Gross is one of the biggest decision points in the slate. He's 9,100. He is probably the highest floor of a forward. The problem with Pascal Gross is he's not been taking a monopoly of sets with Sally March on the field. And then on top of that, we've seen just games where he just doesn't take them. And, he goes and plays right back, and the cup game, he played left back. He should take, 9,100 is fine. It's not great. I could make an argument that Zaha for $500 less as a more goal dependent guy, but still draws fouls, takes shots. I'm sorry for the kid. Apologies. But I could argue that Zaha is going to be a better price per dollar play because at least it gives me the upside too. That's the hardest part of Pascal Gross is sometimes just the upside isn't there. Really has to get that goal or assist. And it feels like those are just strictly off set piece. If he's playing defensive mid or if he's playing right back or left back, the chances of an open play goal or assist are a lot less than when he's in the attacking third. So that's my Pascal Gross bit. March is fine. I'm going to go over some midfielders. I think it's hard to fit them because if James Maddison out, I think there's 3 clear-cut midfielders. Yeah, so those are the 2 best plays. Lamptey gets forward. Estupiñán had one of the worst dives in a very long time. But, he's a very, very attacking left back. And then Trossard was in great form before they left. But he's going to be more goal dependent, especially if he's playing as the 9. Yeah, I think that's Brighton side. So really Pascal Gross is going to be your big decision from Brighton. Makes it even easier to avoid him, right, if you play Bazanu. So that's would be how I'd break down that game. Let's go to Leicester and Newcastle. The big thing here, Leicester plus 225 at home. Big thing here is watching James Maddison's status. Seems like he's very, very much up in the air. Have not seen anything that time of recording, but if he's out, Yuri Tielemans, 5,100, would take a majority of set pieces. He could split with Dewsbury Hall. We've also seen him take everything with Dewsbury on the field. 5,100 for a really, really efficient player. At home, only a slight dog. Sign me up. That would be lock number 2. After them, though, Newcastle is very good defensively. Leicester has struggled all season. I don't think that there's anybody here I'm too interested in. If starting, I don't think he would, because he's like having some, I believe he's in transfer doubts, but Jamie Vardy, he's on the outlets. He's like 4,400. That kind of stuck out as, it's a random punt. It doesn't seem like he's going to start. The fullbacks don't get over 4 at a time. Luke Thomas is okay, gets forward more than Castagne, but versus Newcastle here, I don't think that I'm getting either of them. If I had to go for a GPP dart, it would be Harvey Barnes. But again, he's not forward eligible. I don't have it up by me. I don't believe he's forward eligible. I think he's midfield only, so that just makes it really hard. Daka, goal or bust. Prayet, not really a real attacker if that's the guy over there. Ayoze Perez could be a little bit more interesting. Ayoze Perez could I thought had a chance to get some set competition with Yuri Tielemans in the cup game, but it was all Yuri. So, that's Leicester. Newcastle. Trippier is really expensive. I thought right when I opened the slate, he was so expensive that I wasn't able to get to him, but I think it's actually really easy to get to him. If we don't get Madison in and we get Tielemans, I think that getting him there is pretty easy. It seems like a lot for a defender, but if you took defender off Trippier, right? Took defender off and just put him as midfield, put up his logs, said they're plus 120, away favorite, 8,900, plays all 90 minutes, takes every set piece, takes direct free kicks. The only thing he doesn't take is PKs. Is he a cash lock? And you go, yeah. That's like Kevin De Bruyne type of numbers. So don't overthink it because he's a defender, I guess is where I would go with it. So Kieran Trippier, cash lock, GPP, I'm fine with the fade. Miguel Almiron, he's probably one of the forward options. As weird as it sounds, he's just been that good all season. Leicester's defense has been very, very shaky. So you could fight me and convince me that Almiron, Wilson, or Joe Ellington, all those forward eligible Newcastle pieces are in play for cash. I think that second forward spot is kind of difficult depending on how you build. There's definitely some floor options, but if you go a different way, they're like floor options with limited ceiling, which is always a really tough way to go. So you could convince me of any of them and I'm fine with it. That's probably where I end though. Bruno for GPP is always in play. That's it. Let's go to Everton and Wolverhampton. This is going to be where our third lock is. Everton, a slight home favorite. Demarai Gray is just way too cheap. 7,200, Monopoly set pieces, very attacking, plays an attacking third, plays on the wings, sometimes plays as a 10. Wherever he plays, it's in an attacking role that we can use. Love Demarai Gray. Lock in pretty much any lineup I build. Anthony Gordon is viable for a forward spot, as is Neil Maupay. Wolverhampton's defense has been bad too. So, I could see Everton scoring a few goals here. It's kind of like Everton. Always scary, but kind of like Everton. Home, away, after a long time away, yeah. Goodison can really get up for it. Wolves is just kind of all over the place. Yeah, I'm convincing myself more and more that like Everton stacks and GPP. Probably one of my favorite players that plays on the site is Everton. So you can get me on any of the third. I don't need to go crazy on the defenders. Michaelenko is better than Patterson, in my opinion. Alex Iwobi is like a random, weird, but all of a sudden viable midfield target. Is he forward eligible? That would make life easier. Remember how it used to be? Let me go back to it. Sorry. Riveting television. YouTube television. Whatever the heck this is called. But I just want to check. Because I could convince myself he's not. The very interesting thing that I want to see is if they drop and decide to only have like 2 holding and Dwight McNeil starts. Dwight McNeil solves a lot of issues at 6,200 as a forward. Would split sets with Gray. Very attacking, very cross-heavy type of winger. So that's the type of guy I want to see. It doesn't appear that that's what we're going to get. But Gray, a lock. Those other forwards, more GPP, but you could sell me on for cash. For Wolves, their sets have been a mess this year. But in the cup game, Hugo Bueno took a majority of them. Number 64. God, what a crazy number. But 4,000 defender, chance at set pieces. If he, at worst, let's say he doesn't take a set, he's still a $4,000 attacking left back. I think that's really solid. If not, based on this lineup, would probably be Papa Moutinho. I don't like him here. I already went over that the midfielders that I do like. If you get Madison in, and we lose Tielemans, you can make an argument. The problem with Moutinho is if all of a sudden you don't get set pieces, you're really struggling. Because he's not going to shoot. He doesn't really possess any sort of attacking threat. And, he's just not going to do much, and he's a away dog. So you kind of get screwed. Nunez has taken 2. Podence has taken some as well. my guess based on this would be Bueno at least has a share. So that's why Bueno would be my favorite play. I kind of went over that. I like Everton. I don't really like Wolves. So I think their attackers are a fade here. Diego Costa just hasn't been good for them. Just getting old. He Chan Wang is a good player. So is Podence. But, they're not anybody I'm like going after or going out of my way for. So yeah, that's that game. Final game. Crystal Palace and Fulham, some interesting plays to talk about here. I've already kind of alluded to Zaha. I do like Zaha, but the popular potential foreplay here is Eze. He splits sets with Olise. If Olise is not in, though, and it's just Eze, then that would be a monopoly set pieces. But it looks like Olise's in. He's a really good midfielder option, too, if we don't get Tielemans, depending on how much salary you have. That's all of a sudden, if we don't get Tielemans, Trippier, if you're paying up for forwards, it's harder to afford. So maybe all of a sudden you drop him for Olise. They are plus 105 favorites at home. That's the biggest favorite on the slate. Again, Fulham has been sometimes shaky, especially on the road. So you could get me on Edouard. If IU's starting, you could get me there. Zaha, honestly, I think is a really great GPP play. Maybe he gets 2 owned, but I think he scores here. I take PKs now. He's just always attacking. I especially like him when he doesn't have to play through the middle. When he plays on the wing, he has a chance to draw more fouls. So he has a really good floor at that point. And then on top of that, you get a lot of goal upside with him. So the fullbacks for Crystal Palace don't go forward. The one guy just mentioned, if he does play, I don't think he will, but is Mihalovic. When he's in, he always finds his way to set pieces. So if you saw Mihalovic, Georgie Mihalovic is in my head from MLS transferred to Europe, but Luka Milivojevic is what was trying to say. But if he's in, that really hurts Eze and Olise because he always seems to try to gravitate towards some corners. On the Fulham side, Pereira's taking a majority of their set pieces. He will split an occasional one with Willian. Pereira in play if we didn't get the Tielemans play, because I'm not fading Gray and I'm not fading JWP. I don't like anything else for Fulham here, to be honest, other than those two. And I don't really like them that much. I think Selhurst is a really tough place to go play, especially on Boxing Day. I don't like Fulham at all here. I like Crystal Palace. So my 2 favorite plays, so lock plays, Gray, JWP, and then if no Madison, your Tielemans. Those are the 3 you build. Happen to be your mids and your utility spot, but they're just great plays. And then, my 2 favorite teams, Everton, Crystal Palace, build from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in more content, or like core plays, the chat, where we mark off all the set pieces when the lineups come out, all that good stuff, check out the link below. Join the site. We'd love to have you part of the FSI community. Thank you guys again for watching. Happy Boxing Day. Merry Christmas. Whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope you had a great time with your friends, families, and loved ones. That's the most important part of all this. And thank you for stopping, if you watch this, for me to take a little bit of your time and hopefully help you have a great Boxing Day tomorrow. See you.